Well, I actually had another question on images and bullet points. I know I've seen some of these little things that aren't necessarily within terms of service, but I know some people will put like emojis at the start of their bullet points. And in the main image, where it should just be the product with a white background, sometimes like if you're selling coffee, sometimes they'll have attached to the product, so like overlapping the product, so if they're touching, like coffee beans or like a cup of like a mug to pour the coffee in. Are these technically like not allowed? Are these loopholes that Amazon's missing? Like what's going on there, Eric?
Yeah. Yes and no. I think you can do some of this stuff. I think in the image you can have a main image. I would have to really go back and double check this, but I think you can have a main image that's in real life as long as the product's in use. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like if it's like a giant, if it was like a giant, because I've seen them, but maybe they've changed the policy. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker here, but I thought you could do like a lifestyle image if you have like a big trampoline and you have some kids jumping on it. I think you can, but maybe I'm way off. Maybe that's changed. Lisa, help me out here. Is that like a no, a big one? Normally it's got to be white background with no text. But I thought you could do lifestyle. But anyway, that I'll let Lisa answer that right now. Just verify if I'm right or wrong. But I do have another situation that I would like to talk about, though, after Lisa corrects me. I think she will.
I think some categories are grandfathered in and they allow it. However, it is our recommendation to always have a white background.
Yep. Okay, awesome. I know it wasn't crazy, but I wasn't sure. But like real quick, I did one of my old jobs. We were doing diabetic cases. And in the diabetic case, we had an EpiPen. It was just like to show items, and then I think it was like a tester and stuff, some other diabetic supplies, just to kind of show. And the listing went down, and we couldn't get it back up because they kept asking for an SDS, which is manufacturer safety data sheet, and they were like, and I'm like, it's a bag. It doesn't it doesn't need it. But what they were actually looking at was your background performers to make your product look good. So they thought Amazon didn't know that you weren't selling the EpiPen and the other devices, and they wanted SDSs for that. So that could be a potential error if you're dressing the set, so to speak, to make it a real more connection to your customer. It can actually harm you, and sometimes when your listing goes down, check to see if that could be like might be an item in those pictures or those images that could potentially be the culprit.
Interesting. And then same thing with the bullet points. Like you can technically use emojis. Like I don't know if that's just taking up character space, where you could be putting.
I mean, emojis,
right? I guess
look ticky tacky.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't buy a weighted blanket that had emojis in their bullet points. I'll say that.
I agree.
Interesting. Okay. They're technically not allowed, but people still, they're not like, if Amazon scrapes your listing and finds an emoji, they're not going to ban you from selling.
They might. I mean, so there's...
Oh, wow.
There's a product detail page rules violation. So you can type that in the search bar. It'll bring up it's a whole help page. And then it'll say certain things. It'll kind of have different rules. And what'll end up happening is if you're in violation in your account health, it'll say, what's the policy? Sorry. Product detail page rules. Or no. Sorry. Violation. Product detail page violation. Apologies there. And it won't describe anything. So you'll have to go and then look at this page, and then you're going to have to go through your listing on your own. So I've had in the past some of the marketing claims that we just kind of discussed earlier could be part of it. And some of them aren't going to be like screaming like this is the problem. Some of them are very subtle, and you might not even notice it yourself. You might just be like, well, my product does do this thing, but it's still a claim, and you still need to back that up with evidence. So Amazon can take your listing completely down, or they might just remove bullet points. They might remove your description. They just might remove your content. So you want to make sure that you're following those policies. And if you do see that account health error, just kind of have to go through, and I think they are starting to crack down on some like HTML. If you want to make your description look a little bit more clean instead of just like one long run-on sentence, and you have like bulleted lists and stuff, that is a violation. So, but yeah, pass it over to Lisa. I'm sure she's got some experience on that as well.
Yeah, recently I've seen excessive capitalization. So we like to start our bullet point with capital letters, and capitalize the first couple of words. And then also Amazon doesn't like symbols, especially the and symbol. It can come out kind of wonky on in the back end, and it prints out kind of funky on invoices and packing slips and things like that. So I try to stay away from a lot of the symbols as well.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it than I think a lot of the sellers, a lot of our viewers realize that, maybe they're doing that to save some character space. I know it's only 2 characters, but that just they might run into some issues there.
Well, what's also interesting though too. So like I noticed that most categories that I've checked have increased their bullet points from 5 to 10. So if you are an emoji person, go nuts. You got 10 bullet points. you got
Wow.
more room for your emojis. But yeah, that's I know we're not talking about that, but if you do have access to 10 bullet points, I highly recommend that you utilize those 10 bullet points, because it's just more SEO, more consumer education, more is better. So fill that stuff out.
I say it's more ways for you to describe your product to kind of play into the new Rufus tool that's coming. To kind of play into that and be like, okay, this is exactly what my product is. This is exactly how you're going to use it. This is exactly, what the intended use is for. This is the situation that you'd use. All this more information. Like I said, more is absolutely better, especially with this, again, new way to kind of rank and search coming.